The universe operates on principles we understand: physics, chemistry, the fundamental laws of cause and effect. Warp fields bend space-time through matter-antimatter reactions. Transporters convert matter to energy and back again. Shields deflect particle weapons through polarized frequencies. Everything has an explanation, a mathematical foundation, a scientific rationale. But what happens when something appears that defies every sensor, every theory, every rational explanation? What happens when the impossible becomes undeniably real? The USS Voyager hung in the darkness of the Delta Quadrant like a small island of light in an endless ocean. Captain Catherine Janeway sat in her ready room, reviewing sensor logs of their latest attempt to shave weeks off their 75-year journey home. Coffee steamed in her cup, replicator rations well spent. They'd been stranded here for over a year now, pulled across the galaxy by an entity they barely understood, forced to navigate hostile space with no support, no reinforcements, no Federation backup. Just one ship, one crew, and the impossible distance between them and Earth. The door chimed. "Come in." Commander Chakotay entered, his expression troubled. "Captain, we're detecting unusual subspace fluctuations 3 light-years ahead." 7 of 9 says the readings don't match anything in Borg records. Janeway set down her coffee. When something surprised the Borg, it warranted attention. On screen. The view screen in her ready room activated, displaying a cascade of energy readings that twisted through subspace like a wound in reality itself. Purple and gold energies spiraled outward from a central point, expanding, contracting, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "It's growing," Chakotay observed. "Subspace stress is increasing exponentially. Alter course. Take us around it." "Already did." "But Captain..." He paused as new data scrolled across the display. "The anomaly is moving. It's tracking us." Janeway stood. Red alert. "All hands to battle stations." The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as she emerged from her ready room. Tom Paris's hands flew across the helm controls, Harry Kim diverted power to forward shields, and Tuvok's Vulcan calm provided an anchor of rationality as weapons systems came online. "Distance?" Janeway demanded. 2 light-years and closing," Kim reported. "Captain, it's accelerating. At this rate, it'll intercept us in 90 seconds. 7 of 9 stepped down from her alcove, ocular implant gleaming. "The anomaly exhibits characteristics of a dimensional rupture. The energy signature does not correspond to any known technology or natural phenomenon. Evasive maneuvers, Mr. Paris." The ship banked hard, stars wheeling across the view screen. But the rupture followed, tearing through space like a predator chasing prey. "It's not working," Paris called out. "This thing wants us specifically." 60 seconds. "Weapon status?" Janeway gripped her command chair. "Phasers charged, photon torpedoes ready." Tuvok confirmed. "However, I cannot guarantee weapons' effectiveness against the subspace phenomenon." 30 seconds. The bridge lights flickered. Coffee cups rattled. The deck plates vibrated with a frequency that made teeth ache. "Captain, I'm reading a massive energy discharge inside the anomaly." Kim's voice rose. "It's not subspace. It's something else entirely. The sensors can't classify it." 15 seconds. The view screen showed it now, a swirling vortex of impossible colors, purple lightning crackling across its surface, gold energy pulsing from its core. And in the center, something was moving. Something humanoid. "Brace for impact." The rupture exploded outward in a shockwave of dimensional energy. Voyager's shields flared, overloading, secondary systems screaming as power conduits across 3 decks blew out. The ship lurched violently. Janeway grabbed her chair as crew members stumbled. Sparks rained from overhead panels. And then silence. The anomaly was gone. The view screen showed normal space, stars steady and unchanging. "Damage report," Janeway ordered, pulling herself upright. "Shields at 40%. Kim's hands worked frantically. We've got blown conduits on Deck 6, 7, and 9. No casualties reported. Captain. 7 of 9's voice carried an edge of something that might have been surprise in anyone else. Sensors detect a humanoid life form, unconscious, 30,000 kilometers off our port bow. Janeway turned sharply. Confirm. Confirmed. Male, approximately 17 to 19 years of age based on skeletal structure. DNA partially compatible with human baseline, but with significant anomalies. He is in vacuum without environmental protection. 7 paused, consulting her readings. He is alive. That's impossible, Torres muttered from the engineering station. Nevertheless, Tuvok observed. He exists. Logic suggests we investigate. Janeway made the decision in seconds. Stranded in the Delta Quadrant, they couldn't afford to ignore potential allies, or threats. Beam him directly to sickbay. Security team standing by. Doctor, prepare for an unusual patient. The transporter beam shimmered, and the figure materialized on the biobed. The doctor, Voyager's emergency medical hologram, immediately began scans, his programmed bedside manner momentarily forgotten as data flooded his medical tricorder. Extraordinary, he breathed. His cellular structure is unlike anything in my database. Muscle density is 30 times human baseline. Skeletal structure reinforced with an unknown organic compound. His body is generating its own energy field. I've never seen anything like it. Janeway studied the young man. He wore orange and blue clothing that seemed designed for combat or training. Dark hair, peaceful expression despite being unconscious. He looked human, but the readings told a different story. Is he dangerous? She asked quietly. Unknown. But Captain, his power output is remarkable. Even unconscious, he's emanating energy readings equivalent to a photon torpedo detonation. If he were to wake suddenly... The young man's eyes snapped open. Gold energy flared around him like an aura. The biobe's instruments shrieked. The security officers raised their phasers. Wait! Janeway stepped forward, hand raised. We're not going to hurt you. The energy faded as quickly as it appeared. The young man sat up slowly, looking around with confusion that seemed genuine. Where am I? His voice carried an accent Janeway couldn't place. You're aboard the Federation starship Voyager, she said calmly. I'm Captain Catherine Janeway. You appeared in our space through some kind of dimensional rupture. Do you remember what happened? He touched his head, wincing. I was training. Powered up to my full form, and then, everything went wrong. The energy wouldn't stop building. It tore something open. His eyes widened. Am I still in the Delta Quadrant? No, wait, you said Federation. What galaxy is this? The Milky Way, Janeway said carefully. But I think we need to establish something first. What's your name? Son Gohan. He looked down at his hands, and for a moment, golden energy flickered around them before he suppressed it. And I think I'm very far from home. If you want to see more characters enter the Star Trek universe, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character you'd want to see in the comments below. Live long and prosper. Janeway exchanged glances with Chakotay. They were 75,000 light-years from Earth, navigating the most dangerous region of space they'd ever encountered, with limited resources and no backup. And now they had a passenger who could survive in vacuum, generate energy readings that dwarfed their warp core, and claim to be from another reality entirely. Mr. Gohan, she said, I think we need to talk. The conference room felt smaller with Gohan in it, though he sat quietly enough. Janeway had assembled her senior staff, Chakotay, Tuvok, Torres, 7 of 9, and the doctor via holographic projection. Tom Paris stood by the door, ostensibly reviewing helm data but clearly curious about their dimensional refugee. Gohan had accepted a glass of water, replicated, though Janeway didn't explain that yet, and waited patiently while the crew settled. His posture was relaxed but attentive, like someone accustomed to formal meetings despite his youth. Let's start simple. Janeway began, settling into her chair. You said you were training when this happened. Training for what? To protect my world, Gohan answered without hesitation. In my universe, Earth faces threats that conventional military forces can't handle. Aliens, androids, beings with power that can destroy planets. I'm one of the warriors who stands between them and innocent people. Torres leaned forward. Destroy planets? That's not hyperbole? No. Gohan's expression grew somber. I've seen it happen. I've fought beings who could eradicate solar systems if left unchecked. Tuvok's eyebrow rose fractionally. And you possess comparable power? Yes. No arrogance, just fact. Though I prefer not to use it unless absolutely necessary. My father taught me that strength without restraint is just destruction. 7 of 9 tilted her head. The Borg Collective has assimilated thousands of species across dozens of quadrants. None have demonstrated the ability to survive unprotected vacuum exposure or generate energy readings of your magnitude through biological processes alone. You are unique. In this universe, maybe, Gohan said. Back home, I'm actually not that special. There are others stronger than me. The doctor's holographic form flickered slightly. Mr. Gohan, I've completed my preliminary analysis. Your DNA is fascinating. It shares approximately 70% compatibility with human baseline, but the remaining 30% is unlike anything in Federation records. Your cells process energy through mechanisms I can't begin to explain. You have what I can only describe as an additional organ system that doesn't correspond to any known biology. That would be my key, Gohan explained. Life energy. Everyone has it, but most people can't access or manipulate it. Warriors train for years to harness it for combat, healing, flight. Flight? Paris interrupted. Like actually flying? Without technology? Gohan nodded. Want me to demonstrate? Not in my conference room, Janeway said quickly. She'd seen enough strange things in the Delta Quadrant to take him at his word. Tell me about this key. How does it work? It's the energy generated by living beings. With proper training, you can channel it externally. Project it as attacks, use it to enhance physical abilities, sense other life forces across vast distances. He paused, considering. Actually, I've been trying to sense energy signatures since I woke up. Your ship feels different. Wrong somehow. Not bad, just fundamentally different from what I'm used to. 7's ocular implant gleamed. Describe the difference. Everything here feels more mechanical. Structured. Back home, energy has a certain organic quality even when it's from technology. Here, it's like the universe itself operates on different rules. Gohan frowned. And my ki regeneration is slower. Not much, maybe 20%, but enough to notice. Torres pulled up a PADD displaying subspace field analysis. That might be dimensional variance. If you're from another reality, the fundamental constants might be slightly different. Gravity, electromagnetic force, quantum mechanics. Even small changes could affect biological energy processing. Can you adapt? Chakotay asked. I think so. I'm already adjusting unconsciously. Give me a few weeks and I probably won't even notice the difference. Gohan took a sip of water. The real question is whether I can get home. Janeway had been waiting for that. 7 assessment? The dimensional rupture has closed. 7 reported. I detected no residual subspace distortion that might indicate a traversable pathway. Without understanding the mechanism that brought you here, calculating a return method is currently impossible. Gohan absorbed this quietly. Janeway recognized the look she'd worn it herself when the caretaker stranded them here. The moment when you realize home might be impossibly far away. Mr. Gohan, she said gently. USS Voyager was pulled 75,000 light-years from Federation space by an alien entity. We're trying to get home too. At maximum warp, it would take us 75 years. His eyes widened. 75 years? We're working on reducing that, Chakotay added. Exploring shortcuts, unusual phenomena, anything that might shave time off the journey. But yes, we're essentially stranded in hostile territory. The Delta Quadrant contains numerous species and factions, Tuvok explained. Many are xenophobic, territorial, or actively hostile. We have no reinforcements, limited resources, and must negotiate or fight our way through unfamiliar space. Gohan was quiet for a long moment. So we're both a long way from home. Yes, Janeway said. Which brings me to an important question. What do you want to do? What are my options? You can stay aboard Voyager as a passenger. We'll provide quarters, food, whatever resources we can spare. You're welcome to participate in crew activities or keep to yourself. Janeway met his eyes directly. Or you can request to be dropped at the nearest habitable planet. We won't strand you unwillingly, but I need to know your intentions. Why? Gohan asked. You barely know me. For all you know, I could be dangerous. You survived vacuum exposure and generate power readings that dwarf our weapons systems, Tuvok stated. If you intended harm, we would likely be incapable of stopping you. Therefore, hostility serves no logical purpose. Plus, Torres added with a slight smile, you could have blasted your way out of sickbay when you woke up. Instead, you asked where you were. That says something. Gohan returned the smile. I was raised to be a scholar as much as a warrior. My mom would kill me if I destroyed a starship out of panic. A scholar warrior, Janeway mused. Rare combination. My father was a warrior through and through. Loved fighting more than anything except maybe his family. I inherited his power but not his obsession with battle. Gohan's expression grew distant. I wanted to be a researcher, study ancient texts, maybe teach. But the universe kept demanding I fight instead. The doctor spoke up. Mr. Gohan, I'm curious. You mentioned healing earlier. Can this key energy repair biological damage? To some extent. There are healing techniques, though I'm not an expert. Why? We're 75 years from Federation medical facilities. Any advancement in healing methods would be invaluable. Janeway saw the path forming. Gohan wasn't just a powerful warrior. He might be an asset in ways beyond combat. Mr. Gohan, let me make you an offer. Stay aboard Voyager. Help us when we need it. In return, we'll share everything we know about dimensional physics, subspace mechanics, anything that might help you find your way home. You'd do that? We're explorers, Chakotay said. Helping people is part of who we are. Gohan looked around the table at the faces watching him. Human, Klingon-human hybrid, Vulcan, former Borg. A crew of misfits stranded impossibly far from home, offering shelter to another lost soul. Okay, he said quietly. I'll stay. Janeway extended her hand. Welcome aboard, Mr. Gohan. He shook it, his grip careful despite obvious strength. Just Gohan is fine, Captain. Then welcome aboard, Gohan. She stood, signaling the meeting's end. Mr. Paris will show you to guest quarters. Get some rest. Tomorrow, we'll start figuring. Guest quarters on Voyager were compact but functional. Gohan sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the stars through the viewport. They looked the same as home, endless points of light against infinite darkness, yet everything felt wrong. The energy signatures, the hum of the ship's engines, even the way gravity pressed against him. Different universe, different rules. The door chimed. Come in, Gohan called, remembering Janeway's protocol. B'Elanna Torres entered carrying a PADD and what looked like a toolkit. Hope I'm not interrupting. Thought you might want someone to explain how things work around here. She gestured to the wall panel. Replicator, environmental controls, communication system, standard stuff, but if you've never seen a replicator before. I haven't, Gohan admitted. We have advanced technology back home, but nothing like what I've seen here. Your ship moves faster than light, you materialize objects from thin air, and somehow we're breathing in space. Torres grinned, setting down her gear. Faster than light is warp drive. We create a bubble of subspace that lets us cheat normal physics. The replicator converts energy into matter using stored molecular patterns. And life support uses atmospheric processors to maintain oxygen, temperature, and pressure. She paused. You really can survive in vacuum? Yes, though it's not comfortable. At my power level, I can hold my breath for hours and my ki protects me from temperature extremes and radiation. Your power level. Torres sat in the desk chair, studying him with open curiosity. 7 showed me the readings from when you woke up. You were putting out energy equivalent to our entire warp core at idle. When that golden aura appeared, it spiked to levels that should have killed everyone in sickbay. Sorry about that. Reflexive defense mechanism. Gohan rubbed the back of his neck sheepishly. I'm usually better at controlling it, but waking up in a strange place with weapons pointed at me. Understandable. Though I have to ask, how does a human, even a partially human, generate that much power biologically? It violates every principle of thermodynamics I know. Ki doesn't follow normal thermodynamics, Gohan explained. It's generated by living cells but exists partially outside standard physical laws. Think of it as, he struggled for the right comparison. Like how your warp drive creates a bubble that lets you break light speed without actually moving faster than light. Ki creates a field that enhances what the body can naturally do. Torres leaned forward, engineer's fascination lighting her eyes. Could we study it? Non-invasively, she added quickly. I'm not suggesting experiments. Just scans, maybe some controlled demonstrations. If we could understand how Ki interfaces with normal physics. You think it might help you get home faster? Maybe. Or maybe it's just the most interesting scientific puzzle I've encountered in years. Her smile turned wry. Being stranded 75,000 light-years from home doesn't leave much room for pure research. Everything has to serve survival. But you're something completely new. Gohan found himself smiling back. There was something refreshing about Torres's directness. You're not fully human either, are you? I can sense it. Your energy signature has 2 distinct components. Her expression flickered. Half Klingon. My father's side. And that bothers you. How did you? She stopped, reassessing him. You can sense emotions through this ki? Not emotions exactly. But energy reflects state of mind. Yours gets turbulent when you mention your Klingon heritage. Gohan's voice softened. I know what it's like to be caught between 2 worlds. My father was a Saiyan, an alien warrior race. My mother's human. Growing up, I never felt like I fit fully into either world. Torres was quiet for a moment. The Klingon value strength and honor above everything. They see science and engineering as weak, subordinate to combat prowess. My mother wanted me to embrace my human side, suppress the Klingon anger and aggression. She laughed bitterly. I ended up doing neither very well. Or maybe you did both perfectly. Gohan suggested. You're an engineer. That takes human patience and precision. But you're also direct, passionate, willing to fight when needed. That's Klingon. Why does it have to be one or the other? Because people make you choose. They see the ridges. She touched her forehead. And assume they know who you are. Then they're idiots. Gohan's tone was matter-of-fact. I spent years trying to be just human because I was afraid of my Saiyan side. Saiyan's love fighting, crave battle like an addiction. I hated that part of myself. But eventually I realized, I'm not just Saiyan or just human. I'm both. The human part gives me compassion and restraint. The Saiyan part gives me strength to protect what I love. Torres studied him with new respect. You're younger than you seem. I've been fighting since I was 4 years old. You grow up fast when the fate of the world keeps landing on your shoulders. He stood, stretching. Show me how the replicator works. I'm starving, and I have no idea what your food situation is. Replicator rations are limited, but Captain's pretty generous with new crew members. Torres walked to the wall panel. Computer, 1 Terrian chocolate puff. The device hummed, and a pastry materialized in a shimmer of light. Gohan's eyes widened. That's incredible. You can create any food? Anything in the database. Though fresh ingredients taste better, replicators can't quite capture all the nuances. She handed him the pastry. Try it. He bit into it cautiously, then smiled. This is good. Back home, my mom's cooking is legendary, but this is… Wait, can it make rice? Rice? Sure. Computer, 1 bowl of white rice steamed. Another shimmer, another materialization. Gohan took the bowl reverently. I know this sounds stupid, but this is the first thing that's felt like home since I arrived. Torres's expression softened. It's not stupid. Everyone has something that grounds them. For me, it's engine diagnostics. The same principles work whether you're in the Alpha Quadrant or the Delta Quadrant. Physics doesn't care where you are. Except I'm from a universe where physics works differently. True. She pulled out her PDD. Which is why I want to run those scans. Not today, you've had enough stress. But when you're ready, I'd like to understand how your key interacts with our reality. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something useful. Maybe, Gohan agreed, finishing the rice. Torres, thank you. For not treating me like a weapon or a threat. Just a person. Balana, she corrected. And you're welcome. Just do me a favor. When you demonstrate this key thing, warn me first. I'd like to recalibrate sensors so we don't blow out half the ship's systems. Deal. After Torres left, Gohan stood at the viewport again. 75,000 light-years from Earth, not his Earth, but an Earth nonetheless. A ship full of people trying to get home, just like him. He'd been stranded for less than a day and already felt the weight of isolation. But maybe that isolation didn't have to be complete. These people had taken him in, offered shelter and assistance without demanding anything in return. The least he could do was help them survive the journey. He powered up slightly, letting golden energy flicker around his hands. Still worked, still responsive, just different. He could adapt. He'd adapted to being half-Saiyan, adapted to his father's death, adapted to threats that would have destroyed him if he'd been inflexible. He could adapt to this too. 3 days into his stay aboard Voyager, Gohan found himself in astrometrics with 7 of 9. The massive chamber displayed star charts across multiple view screens, tracking their course through the Delta Quadrant. 7 worked with mechanical precision, her Borg implants gleaming as she catalogued spatial phenomena. You are inefficient, she stated without looking up. Gohan blinked. Excuse me? Your energy expenditure. I have observed you maintaining a baseline power output 63% higher than necessary for standard activities. You waste resources through constant vigilance. It's not waste, Gohan countered. It's readiness. Where I come from, threats can appear instantly. Staying powered up means I can respond immediately. 7 finally turned to face him. This vessel contains 147 crew members. You have been aboard for 72 hours. In that time, we have encountered 0 hostile engagements. Your hypervigilance serves no logical purpose. Except the universe doesn't care about logic. It cares about whether you're fast enough when something goes wrong. The Borg achieved perfection through efficiency. 7 said. Excess capacity is inefficiency. You could reduce power consumption by 60% and still exceed any threat this crew might face. Gohan felt his jaw tighten. Were you Borg? I was assimilated at age 6. I was Borg for 18 years before Captain Janeway severed me from the collective. No emotion in her voice, just fact. I retain Borg knowledge and perspectives. Your approach to power management is flawed. And your approach to humanity is flawed, Gohan shot back. You reduce everything to efficiency calculations and logical assessments. But power isn't just about optimal energy distribution, it's about being ready for the impossible. Seven tilted her head, a gesture he'd learned meant she was processing something unexpected. Explain. I've faced enemies who could destroy solar systems. Beings who could manipulate time, reality, existence itself. If I'd worried about efficiency, I'd be dead. My friends would be dead. My entire planet would be dust. Gohan's voice remained steady but firm. So yes, I stay powered up. Because the moment I relax, that's when the universe decides to throw something at me I'm not ready for. Your experiences have traumatized you. Seven observed clinically. No. Gohan shook his head. They've taught me. There's a difference. I'm not afraid, I'm prepared. Seven was silent for a moment, studying him with an intensity that felt like being scanned. You are 19 years old according to your skeletal structure. Yet you speak as someone who has witnessed civilization's end. I've seen more than that. Gohan turned to the star charts. I watched my father sacrifice himself when I was 4. Watched him die again when I was 11. Fought a being who killed billions across multiple timelines. Pushed myself past every limit until my body broke and I had to go further anyway. He met her eyes. So when you tell me I'm inefficient, I hear you. But I'd rather be inefficient and alive than optimal and dead. Your father died twice? Long story involving magical artifacts. The point is, efficiency works until it doesn't. What's your backup plan when optimal fails? Seven considered this. Adaptation. The Borg's primary strength is adapting to overcome obstacles. When efficiency proves insufficient, we evolve. But you're not Borg anymore. No. Something flickered across her expression, pain maybe, or loss. I am individual. Alone. Cut off from the collective's shared consciousness. Inferior. Gohan heard the echo of his own struggles in her words. You think being individual makes you weaker? The collective contained trillions of minds. Shared knowledge, shared processing, shared purpose. As an individual, I have only my own limited perspective. It is demonstrably inferior. Is it? Gohan leaned against the console. The collective has trillions of minds but only one will. Everyone thinking the same thoughts, pursuing the same goals. You have one mind, but it's entirely yours. You can change, grow, decide things the collective never could. I can also be wrong. Make errors. Fail. So can the collective. Just on a much bigger scale. He gestured to the star charts. How many species did the Borg try to assimilate that fought back? How many times did their perfect adaptation fail? Seven's ocular implant gleamed. Species 8472. The Borg attempted to assimilate them and failed. They developed biotechnology that could destroy Borg vessels instantly. Because the collective couldn't adapt fast enough. They were too busy being efficient and perfect. Gohan straightened. You're not inferior, Seven. You're different. Maybe that's better. You are attempting to comfort me. I'm attempting to tell you what I wish someone had told me when I was struggling with being half-Saiyan. Different doesn't mean broken. The door chimed. Tuvok entered, his Vulcan features impassive. Mr. Gohan, Captain Janeway requests your presence on the bridge. We have encountered a situation that may require your unique capabilities. Gohan's energy flared instinctively, golden aura flickering before he suppressed it. What kind of situation? A Kazon raiding party. 3 vessels demanding we surrender our technology and supplies. Kazon? Gohan followed Tuvok toward the door. A territorial species organized into sections. Limited technological advancement but numerous ships. They view Voyager as a valuable prize. Tuvok's pace was measured, unhurried. Typically, we evade them. However, this particular sect has blockaded our course through a nebula. Fighting would be costly. And you want me to scare them off? The captain wishes to present you as a diplomatic option. Gohan stopped walking. Diplomatic? Tuvok, I'm a warrior, not a negotiator. You are a warrior who prefers not to fight. Tuvok corrected. Captain Janeway believes that quality makes you ideal for this situation. The Kazon respect strength but rarely encounter beings of your capabilities. Your presence alone may convince them to withdraw. And if it doesn't? Then we will require your assistance defending the ship. Tuvok resumed walking. However, the captain hopes to avoid violence. As do I. Violence is often inefficient. There's that word again, Gohan muttered, glancing back at Seven. She watched him from the astrometrics chamber, expression unreadable. Do not die, Gohan. That would be inefficient. He smiled despite himself. I'll do my best. The bridge thrummed with tension. 3 Kazon vessels filled the view screen. Aggressive, angular designs bristling with weapons. Janeway stood at tactical, reviewing their formation with Chakotay. Captain, Gohan announced himself. Janeway turned. Gohan. Thank you for coming. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Can you disable those ships without killing anyone? He studied the vessels, reaching out with his key sense. Dozens of life forms on each ship, aggressive energy signatures but nothing genuinely threatening. Yes. I could overload their weapon systems with concentrated key blasts, disable their engines without breaching the hulls. They'd be dead in space but alive. Would they see it as an attack? They'd see it as overwhelming force. Whether they interpret that as aggression or deterrence depends on how we frame it. Janeway smiled grimly. Then let's frame it correctly. Hail them, Mr. Kim. The view screen shifted to show a Kazon commander, scarred face, elaborate hair decoration marking his rank. Federation vessel. You will surrender your technology or be destroyed. I am Captain Catherine Janeway of the starship Voyager. We have no quarrel with your sect. Stand aside and we'll proceed peacefully. You are weak. Alone. You will comply. We're not as alone as you think, Janeway said calmly. Gohan, please step forward. He moved into the Kazon commander's view, letting just enough golden energy flicker around him to catch the light. The commander's eyes widened. What is that? Someone you don't want to fight, Janeway said. Stand down. The Kazon commander's expression shifted from shock to calculation. A trick. Holographic projection designed to intimidate. No trick, Gohan said quietly. He raised one hand, and golden energy condensed into a sphere the size of a baseball, crackling with barely contained power. The bridge lights flickered in response. I'm very real. And I'm asking you politely, leave us alone. Mage Color does not retreat from threats. The commander snarled. You hide behind Federation weakness. Prove your power or be destroyed. The channel closed. The 3 Kazon vessels opened fire simultaneously. Shields holding. Kim reported as phaser blasts impacted Voyager's deflectors. But they're repositioning for a coordinated strike. Janeway looked at Gohan. Can you stop them without starting a war? I'll try. He turned to Paris. Can you open the shuttle bay door remotely? Yeah, but... Do it. I need to get outside. 30 seconds later, Gohan stood in Shuttle Bay 2 as the massive doors cycled open. The force field shimmered, holding atmosphere while space beckoned beyond. He took a breath, centered himself, and stepped through. The void embraced him. Cold, silent, absolute. His ki flared automatically, protecting him from vacuum, radiation, temperature extremes. He'd done this before, fought in space during the Cell Games, but never in a universe that felt this fundamentally different. The Kazon ships converged on Voyager from 3 vectors, weapons charging for a killing strike. Gohan raised both hands, feeling the familiar rush of power building from his core, flowing through his meridians, erupting outward as golden light. Masenko! Energy gathered between his palms, condensing, building pressure. Ha! The blast erupted in a controlled beam, striking the lead Kazon vessel's forward weapons array. Not destructive, surgical. The energy overloaded their phaser banks, sending cascading failures through their offensive systems without breaching the hull. The ship listed, weapons dark, engines sputtering. Gohan spun, fired again. The second vessel's engines flared and died as his ki blasts fried their propulsion systems at the molecular level. Still intact, still pressurized, crew unharmed, just stranded. The third ship tried to run. Gohan flew after it. No technology, no propulsion, just pure ki allowing him to move through space like he was born to it. He caught up in seconds, positioned himself directly in front of their flight path, and fired a warning shot that streaked past their bow by meters. The ship stopped. Gohan flew back to Voyager, slipping through the force field into Shuttle Bay 2. The doors cycled closed behind him. He stood there for a moment, catching his breath, not from exertion but from the strangeness of it all. Same power, same techniques, different universe. It worked, but every instinct screamed that something was wrong about the physics. He made his way back to the bridge. The crew stared at him with expressions ranging from awe to concern. "Report," Janeway ordered, though she kept her eyes on Gohan. "All 3 Kazon vessels disabled," Tuvok confirmed. "No casualties detected. Their weapons and propulsion systems are inoperative, but life support remains functional. Hail them again." The Kazon commander reappeared, his earlier confidence replaced by barely concealed fear. "What are you?" "Someone who doesn't want to hurt you," Gohan said. "But I will protect this crew. You have 2 choices: let us pass peacefully, or I disable every Kazon vessel in this sector. Your call." "You would declare war on all Kazon sects?" "No. I'd declare that Voyager is off limits. Spread the word. Any sect that attacks this ship answers to me." The commander's jaw worked silently. Pride warred with survival instinct. Finally, survival won. "Mage Kula will hear of this. You have made a powerful enemy." "I've made lots of those," Gohan replied calmly. "One more won't change anything. Safe travels, Commander." The channel closed. Janeway turned to Paris. "Get us out of here, best possible speed." "Aye, Captain." As Voyager accelerated away from the disabled Kazon vessels, Janeway approached Gohan. "Walk with me." They left the bridge together, headed for the turbolift. Chakotay took command without a word. Janeway waited until they were alone, heading toward her ready room, before speaking. "That was impressive. And concerning." "Concerning how?" She gestured him into her ready room, the door sliding shut behind them. "You just demonstrated power sufficient to disable 3 warships in under a minute. Without breaking a sweat. Without any visible effort." "I was holding back significantly," Gohan admitted. "If I'd wanted to destroy them, I'd believe you. That's what concerns me." Janeway moved to the replicator. "Coffee, black. You want anything?" "Water's fine." She handed him the glass, took her coffee, and settled behind her desk. "Gohan, I need you to understand something about Starfleet and the Federation. We have weapons capable of destroying planets. Genesis devices, trilithium weapons, antimatter warheads that could crack worlds open. We choose not to use them because power without restraint is tyranny." "I understand that, Captain. It's why I didn't destroy those ships. But you could have. Easily. And now every Kazon sect will know that Voyager has someone aboard who can disable their vessels with a wave of his hand." She sipped her coffee. "That makes us either untouchable or the most valuable target in the quadrant." Gohan hadn't considered that angle. "You think they'll come after us harder? Some will retreat. Others will see you as a prize worth any cost. Imagine what a Kazon sect could accomplish with a warrior like you under their control." "They couldn't control me. They don't know that. They'll try. Coercion, manipulation, hostages, whatever works." Janeway's expression was serious but not accusatory. "I'm not blaming you. You did exactly what I asked. But actions have consequences, and in the Delta Quadrant, those consequences can be unpredictable." Gohan sat heavily. "Back home, I tried to avoid fighting. Focused on my studies, helped my mom with chores, tried to be normal. But every time I stepped back, someone threatened Earth and I had to step up again. I thought maybe here, in a different universe, I could find a way to use my power that didn't make everything worse. You didn't make anything worse, Janeway said gently. You saved lives today, ours and theirs. I'm just reminding you that in this universe, power attracts attention. The Borg, the Vidiians, the Hirogen, they all look for advantages, weapons, anything that gives them an edge. You're walking around with more power than most species can comprehend. So what do you want me to do? Hide? Pretend I'm not capable? No. I want you to be careful. Strategic. This isn't your universe where threats announce themselves and you can fight them directly. Here, enemies are subtle. They study you, find weaknesses, exploit them. The Kazon are simple. They attack directly. Others won't be. Gohan absorbed this. You've dealt with this before. People seeing you as a resource instead of a person. 7 of 9. Janeway confirmed. Former Borg drone with more knowledge in her head than most civilizations possess. Every faction we encounter sees her as either a threat to eliminate or an asset to acquire. She can't hide what she is. The implants are visible, the Borg technology irreversible. So we protect her, and she protects us. Is that what I am now? An asset? You're a person, Janeway said firmly. But yes, you're also someone with capabilities that make you valuable. I won't lie to you about that. The question is, what do you want to be? I want to help, Gohan said after a moment. I want to be useful without being just a weapon. He paused. I want what you have. A purpose that isn't just fighting. Then we'll find you one. But for now, expect complications. The complications arrived 6 days later in the form of the Vidiians. Gohan was in the mess hall with Neelix, Voyager's Talaxian morale officer and self-appointed guide to Delta Quadrant cuisine. The cheerful alien had been explaining the nutritional properties of Leola root for 20 minutes, seemingly oblivious to Gohan's polite disinterest. And with just a pinch of Jimbalian fudge, the bitterness transforms into something almost palatable. Neelix beamed, stirring a pot that smelled vaguely toxic. Neelix, Gohan said carefully, I appreciate you trying to feed me, but I'm fine with replicated rice and vegetables. Nonsense. You're our guest, and guests deserve better than replicated monotony. Here, try this. Red alert klaxons cut through the conversation. Gohan was moving before Neelix finished flinching, sprinting toward the bridge. He burst through the turbolift doors to find the crew at battle stations, view screen showing 2 alien vessels, organic-looking, covered in bizarre technological grafts that seemed almost biological. Vidiian ships, Janeway stated grimly. They're not responding to hails. Tuvok analysis? 2 cruisers heavily armed. Shields at maximum, weapons charging. They are moving to flank us. Tuvok's hands moved across tactical. Captain, their sensor sweeps are focused specifically on Deck 3, Section 12. Guest quarters, Chakotay realized. They're scanning for Gohan. How would they know about him? Kim asked. The Kazon, 7 of 9 stated from her station. Mage Cullis survived our encounter. He would have reported the presence of a being with unique biological capabilities. The Vidiians suffer from the phage, a disease that forces them to harvest organs from other species to survive. They would perceive Gohan as a walking organ bank. Janeway finished coldly. Gohan, get to. I'm not hiding, he said quietly. Captain, what's the phage? A plague that's ravaged their entire civilization for centuries. It destroys their organs faster than they can regenerate. They steal organs from other species to replace what the disease takes. Her voice carried both pity and steel. They're desperate, which makes them dangerous. So they're sick. Dying. Gohan felt the familiar weight settling on his shoulders. And they think I can save them. Your cellular regeneration is beyond anything in Federation medical databases. The doctor's voice came over calm. If they've heard reports of your capabilities, they would absolutely see you as a cure. The Vidiian vessels opened fire. Shields holding. Kim called out. They're not using full power, those were warning shots. The comm crackled with an alien voice, wet and rasping. Federation vessel. Surrender the enhanced humanoid and we will not harm you. We require only samples. Tissue, blood, bone marrow. He will survive the procedure. Like hell. Torres muttered from engineering. Janeway stood. This is Captain Janeway. The individual you're referring to is under my protection. I will not surrender any member of my crew or any passenger to forced medical experimentation. Then you condemn an entire species to death. We need only understand his cellular structure. His regenerative capabilities could cure billions. Gohan stepped forward. Let me talk to them. Janeway hesitated, then nodded. Put him on screen. The view screen shifted to show a Vidiian commander, or what was left of one. Cybernetic implants held together a patchwork body, mismatched organs visible beneath translucent surgical grafts. The being's eyes, however, were painfully human in their desperation. My name is Gohan, he said. I understand you're dying. That your entire species is suffering. But taking pieces of me by force isn't the answer. We have no choice, the Vidiian responded. The phage takes everything. My heart, stolen from a Talaxian traitor. My lungs, harvested from a Kazon warrior. My liver, grown in a laboratory from cells scavenged from 100 species. I am a walking graveyard, and I am fortunate. Most of my people have far less. The being's voice cracked. You can regenerate. You survived vacuum. Your cellular structure is perfect, uncorrupted. One sample could save us all. Or it might kill you. Gohan countered. My cells aren't from this universe. They might be incompatible with your biology, or worse. They might adapt in ways you can't control. Have you considered that? The Vidiian was silent. I want to help you. Gohan continued. But not like this. Not through force and fear. If you want samples, ask. If you want to study my biology, propose a collaboration. But threatening this crew, threatening me, that guarantees I'll never help you. Words. The Vidiian spat. Comfortable words from someone who doesn't watch his children dissolve from the inside. Who doesn't feel organs failing one by one. You have power beyond measure, and you hoard it while we suffer. I have power. Gohan agreed. But power doesn't make me responsible for every tragedy in the universe. I didn't cause your phage. I can't cure it with a snap of my fingers. And I won't let you butcher me because you're desperate. The Vidiian ships opened fire, full weapons this time. Shields at 70%. Kim shouted. They're targeting our engines. Return fire, Janeway ordered. Disable their weapons but don't destroy them. Voyager's phasers lanced out, striking shields that flared and buckled. But the Vidiian ships were resilient, their patchwork technology adapting rapidly. They're beaming something aboard, Tuvok reported. Deck 3, Section 12. My quarters, Gohan said. He was already moving. Don't worry, Captain. I'll handle it. He sprinted through corridors, crew members pressing against walls to let him pass. The turbolift seemed too slow, so he punched through the ceiling access panel and flew up the shaft, keep propelling him faster than any mechanical system. Guest quarters were breached. 4 Vidiians in environmental suits stood around medical equipment, scanners, surgical tools, stasis chambers. They'd expected to find him unconscious, easy prey. Instead, they found him standing in the doorway, golden energy flickering. Last chance, Gohan said. Leave voluntarily. The lead Vidiian raised a weapon, some kind of neural disruptor. You will be sedated. The procedure will be painless. No, Gohan said simply. It won't. He moved. Not at full speed, that would have liquefied them, but fast enough that they registered only a blur. The weapon flew from the Vidiian's hand, crushed to scrap. The medical equipment sparked and died, carefully disabled without harming the operators. In 3 seconds, all 4 Vidiians were pinned to the wall by focus key pressure, unable to move but uninjured. Computer, security to guest quarters, Gohan called. Tuvok and 2 security officers arrived moments later, phasers drawn. Secure them, Tuvok ordered. He studied Gohan with what might have been approval. Efficient restraint. No casualties. They're desperate, not evil, Gohan said, releasing the key pressure slowly. They need help, not punishment. Back on the bridge, Janeway negotiated. The Vidiian commander, faced with captured boarding party and disabled weapons, agreed to withdraw, but not before issuing a warning. Others will come. The phage drives us all to extremes. You cannot protect him forever. Watch me, Janeway said coldly. The channel closed. The Vidiian ships limped away into the nebula. Chakotay approached Gohan. You could have killed them easily. I know. But you didn't. Even when they were trying to harvest your organs. They're sick, Gohan said quietly. Scared. I've fought enough real monsters to know the difference. He looked at Janeway. But you were right, Captain. Power attracts attention. And not the kind I want. Welcome to the Delta Quadrant, she replied. Where everyone wants something, and nothing comes free. 18 days after the Vidiian incident, Voyager's sensors detected something that made even 7 of 9 pause. Borg signature, she announced, her voice tighter than usual. Transwarp conduit opening 2 light years ahead. A cube is emerging. The bridge went silent. Gohan had learned enough about this universe to understand what that meant. The Borg, cybernetic collective, trillions of drones, assimilation-driven perfection. 7's former captors. How long until it detects us? Janeway asked, her command voice steady despite the tension radiating from every crew member. At current distance, approximately 4 minutes. 7 reported. However, the cube's trajectory will bring it within sensor range in 2 minutes 30 seconds. Alter course. Maximum warp. Heading 147 Mark 6. Belay that, 7 said sharply. Everyone turned. She'd never contradicted a direct order before. Captain, the Borg will detect our warp's signature regardless of direction. Fleeing will only confirm we are prey worth pursuing. Our only option is to remain motionless and hope we fall below their tactical interest threshold. You want us to just sit here? Paris asked incredulously. Yes. The Borg ignore species and vessels deemed irrelevant. At this distance, with shields and weapons offline, we may register as insufficient priority for investigation. Janeway considered this for 3 seconds. All stop. Shut down everything non-essential. Minimal power signatures only. Voyager went dark. Lights dimmed to emergency levels. The hum of systems reduced to a whisper. Gohan felt the ship's energy signature drop to almost nothing, like watching a star dim to nearly invisible. They're scanning. 7 whispered. Wide spectrum analysis. They have detected us. The view screen showed it, a massive cube, kilometers on each side, impossibly angular and precise. Green light pulsed across its surface like a heartbeat. Gohan reached out with his key senses and immediately recoiled. The cube contained thousands of minds, but they weren't separate. They were one consciousness distributed across thousands of bodies. Alien. Wrong. Utterly emotionless. They're hailing, Kim said quietly. On screen. A Borg drone appeared, pale skin, cybernetic implants, dead eyes. We are the Borg. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. But something was wrong. The drone's attention wasn't on Janeway or the ship. It was staring directly at Gohan. Biological organism designated Gohan, the Borg intoned. Species unknown. Origin, extra-dimensional. Energy generation capabilities, unprecedented. Cellular structure unique. You will be assimilated. Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own. They know your name. Torres breathed. Kazon transmissions, 7 said bitterly. The Borg monitor all communications in this sector. They have been searching for you since the first reports emerged. The cube altered course, heading directly toward Voyager. Janeway stood. Battle stations. Gohan, get to. No. His voice was quiet but absolute. Captain, this is my fault. The Kazon, the Vidiians, now the Borg, they're all coming because of me. I won't let your crew die because I'm here. You can't fight a Borg cube alone. Chakotay protested. Watch me. Golden energy flared around Gohan, brighter than before. The bridge lights flickered in response. Get the ship out of here. I'll keep them busy. Gohan. Captain, please. He met her eyes. I've fought beings that could destroy galaxies. I've died and come back. I've pushed past every limit my body had and found new ones. A cube full of cyborgs isn't going to stop me. He smiled, though it didn't reach his eyes. Besides, they want to assimilate me. Let's see them try. Janeway looked at him for a long moment, then nodded once. Tom, prepare to execute evasive pattern Delta on my mark. Gohan. Give them hell, then get back here. That's an order. Yes, ma'am. The shuttle bay doors opened. Gohan stepped into vacuum for the second time since arriving in this universe. The Borg cube loomed ahead, impossibly large, bristling with weapons and tractor beams. Drones moved across its surface like ants on a hill. He powered up fully, letting his ki explode outward in a golden aura that lit up the surrounding space. Back home, this was his ultimate form. The power Elder Kai had unlocked, letting him access his full potential without the strain of Super Saiyan transformations. Here, in this universe, it felt different. Stronger, maybe, or just more noticeable against the ordered technology around him. The Borg fired. Cutting beams, energy weapons, tractor beams, all converging on his position. Gohan dodged, his speed making the attack seem frozen in time. He flew through the barrage, weaving between energy blasts that could have vaporized the starship. The Borg adapted, predicting his movements, firing where he would be instead of where he was. Smart. Adaptive. Exactly what Seven had warned him about. He fired back, controlled ki blasts targeting the cube's weapons arrays. Explosions rippled across its surface as emitters overloaded and detonated. But the Borg were already adapting, regenerating damaged sections, redistributing power to functional systems. A tractor beam caught him. The pressure was immense, trying to pull him toward the cube's surface where drones waited with assimilation tubules. Gohan strained against it, ki flaring brighter, muscles burning as he fought the invisible force. For a moment he was stuck, the first time since arriving in this universe that something had actually restrained him. Then he remembered what his father had taught him. Power isn't just about raw strength. It's about focus, control, understanding how energy flows. He stopped fighting the tractor beam. Instead, he followed its energy signature back to the source, traced the quantum connection, and fired a precision blast directly into the emitter generating it. The beam shattered. He was free. You will be assimilated. The Borg voice echoed across all frequencies. Adaptation complete. Your energy attacks are now ineffective. Gohan grinned. Then I'll try something new. He flew directly at the cube, building speed, condensing his ki into a focus point around his fist. The Borg fired everything, cutting beams, plasma charges, force fields. He ignored them all, letting his aura absorb or deflect the attacks. He punched the cube. The impact created a shockwave that rippled across space. Metal screamed. The cube's perfect geometry cracked, a fracture line spreading across one face. Drones were sucked into vacuum as the breach widened. Internal systems exploded in cascading failures. Adaptation failing, the Borg voice said, and for the first time, Gohan detected something that might have been surprise. Physical force exceeds compensatory parameters. Shields ineffective against biological kinetic energy. That's because you can't adapt to something this simple, Gohan said. He pulled back his fist again. Sometimes the old ways work best. He struck again. And again. each punch carefully calibrated to damage systems without destroying the entire cube. He wasn't here to kill thousands of drones, just to disable them long enough for Voyager to escape. The Borg tried to adapt, reinforcing hull plating, erecting force fields, even attempting to beam drones directly onto him. But drones couldn't survive in vacuum without protection, and the moment they materialized near him, his aura's energy scrambled their systems. Voyager to Gohan. Janeway's voice came through his borrowed comm badge. We're clear. Get out of there. On my way. He fired one final massive ki blast directly into the cube's power distribution node, the information Seven had provided during their astrometrics conversation. The cube went dark, systems failing, regeneration halted. Gohan flew back toward Voyager at full speed. Behind him, the cube drifted, damaged but not destroyed. The Borg would repair it eventually, but for now, they were disabled. He landed in the shuttle bay, breathing hard. Not from exhaustion, from adrenaline. That had been close. Closer than he'd admit. Janeway met him in the corridor outside, relief and concern warring on her face. Report. Cube disabled. They'll recover, but it'll take time. We should put as much distance between us and them as possible. Already on it. She studied him. You're shaking. Adrenaline crash. I'm fine. You fought a Borg cube with your bare hands. Technically, I used ki blast too. She almost smiled. The Borg now have your combat data. They'll adapt. I know. Gohan looked back toward the shuttle bay. Next time will be harder. Then let's make sure there isn't a next time, Janeway said. Recovery took 3 days. Voyager maintained maximum warp, putting as much distance as possible between themselves and Borg space. Gohan spent most of that time in his quarters, reviewing what he'd learned from the encounter. The Borg adapted. Quickly. Efficiently. They'd analyzed his energy attacks in real time, developed countermeasures, forced him to switch tactics. Back home, most enemies couldn't adapt like that. They just got stronger or revealed hidden transformations. The Borg were different. They learned, evolved, became harder to fight with every exchange. He was meditating, trying to sense the flow of ki in this universe, when his door chimed. Come in. 7 of 9 entered, carrying a PADD and what looked like damaged Borg technology. I have analyzed your combat data against the cube. There are inefficiencies we must address. Hello to you too, Gohan said dryly. She set the equipment on his desk. The Borg will adapt to your fighting style. Your reliance on direct energy attacks provides them with exploitable data. Your physical strikes were more effective because the Borg have limited experience defending against biological kinetic force of that magnitude. So I should just punch them? Yes. No irony in her voice. However, the Borg will eventually develop countermeasures. Reinforced hull plating, kinetic dampening fields, adaptive armor. You disabled one cube. The collective now has data from thousands of drones who witnessed the encounter. Every cube in this sector will be prepared for you. Gohan gestured to the equipment. Is that from the cube I fought? Severed drone components recovered during the battle. I wish to examine how your energy affected Borg nanoprobes at the cellular level. She activated a display showing microscopic analysis. Your ki damaged their adaptive systems in ways I have never observed. The nanoprobes attempted to assimilate the energy signature but were destroyed in the process. Ki is life energy. Maybe that's why. It's organic, not technological. Hard to assimilate something that's fundamentally alive. Seven tilted her head. An interesting hypothesis. If accurate, your energy might represent the Borg's first encounter with a truly non-assimilable power source. She paused. That makes you extremely dangerous to them. Dangerous how? The Borg's primary directive is achieving perfection through assimilation. You represent distinctiveness they cannot acquire. To the collective, that is unacceptable. Her expression remained neutral, but something flickered in her eyes. They will not stop pursuing you. Ever. Gohan absorbed this quietly. How do you deal with it? Knowing they're always out there, always looking for you. I do not. Seven's honesty was brutal. I am former Borg. Severed from the collective against my will. I contain knowledge they desire to reclaim. Every day aboard Voyager, I am aware that the Borg consider me a priority target. She met his eyes. The difference is that I cannot fight them alone. You can. That doesn't make it easier. No. It makes you more valuable. And more isolated. She turned to leave, then stopped. The crew fears you now. Not because you fought the Borg, but because you won. They witnessed power beyond their comprehension, and it reminds them how fragile they are. I was protecting them. I know. But protection from overwhelming power is difficult to distinguish from subjugation by overwhelming power. They will be grateful and wary in equal measure. She paused at the door. As am I. After she left, Gohan sat in the silence of his quarters. Was she right? Did the crew see him differently now? He'd noticed fewer casual interactions, more formal greetings, people giving him wider berth in corridors. His comm badge chirped. Gohan, report to Astrometrics. We've detected something you need to see. Seven's voice surgent. He found her at the main console, displays showing a region of space approximately 3 light-years ahead. Strange energy signatures pulsed across the screens. Not Borg, not any technology he'd seen before. What am I looking at? Fluidic space aperture. Seven explained. A gateway between our dimension and another realm entirely. The realm of Species 8472. Species 8472? Extra-dimensional beings. Their technology is biotechnology. Organic ships, organic weapons, immune to Borg assimilation. They nearly destroyed the collective before Captain Janeway negotiated a ceasefire. Seven magnified the display. They are emerging. 3 bioships, heading directly toward our position. How do they know we're here? They do not know about Voyager. Seven turned to face him. They know about you. Species 8472 possess telepathic abilities spanning dimensions. They sensed your extra-dimensional origin when you arrived in this universe. To them, you are either an ally against the Borg or an invader threatening their realm. Janeway's voice came over the comm. Senior staff to the bridge. We have company. The bridge was already at red alert when Gohan arrived. The view screen showed 3 ships unlike anything he'd seen, organic curves, bioluminescent surfaces, weapons that looked grown rather than built. They moved with predatory grace, circling Voyager like sharks. Hail them, Janeway ordered. The view screen shifted. The beings that appeared were tripedal, with 3 legs, 3 arms, and a singular eye. Their telepathic voice echoed directly in everyone's minds, bypassing conventional communication. Dimensional anomaly. You do not belong in this realm. Your presence creates instability between realities. Gohan stepped forward. My arrival was an accident. I didn't choose to come here. Irrelevant. You are a tear in the fabric between dimensions. Your energy signature disrupts the barriers between fluidic space and normal space. You must be eliminated or return to your origin realm. I don't know how to return, Gohan admitted. If I did, I would. I'm stranded here just like this ship's crew. Then you will be eliminated. Your continued existence threatens both our realm and this one. The Species 8472 vessels charge their weapons, massive energy buildups visible even on sensors. Wait. Janeway moved beside Gohan. There has to be another option. This being hasn't harmed your realm. He's been nothing but helpful to us. His presence is harm. Every moment he exists in this dimension, the barriers weaken. Already, we sense other dimensional entities becoming aware of the breach he created. Things that should remain separated begin to converge. What kind of things? Torres asked quietly. Things that make the Borg seem insignificant. The temperature on the bridge dropped. Gohan felt it too. Something at the edge of his perception, pressing against reality like a presence trying to push through a door. Something vast. Hungry. Wrong. You feel it. Species 8472 stated. Your arrival created a beacon. Others will follow. This dimension will be invaded by forces from countless realities, all seeking the pathway you tore open. Then help me close it, Gohan said urgently. I don't want to destroy your realm or this one. But killing me won't seal the breach. It'll just leave the door open and unguarded. The aliens were silent for a long moment, communicating among themselves telepathically. You propose cooperation? I propose we fix what I broke. Together. Gohan looked at Janeway. Captain? She nodded. Voyager's resources are at your disposal. Whatever it takes to seal this dimensional breach. We will consider this. But be warned. If we determine you cannot be trusted, we will destroy you, this vessel, and everything within 10 light-years to ensure the breach is contained. The Species 8472's ships moved closer, weapons still charged. You have 12 hours to prove your worth. The channel closed. Janeway turned to her crew. Well, we've faced Kazon, Vidiians, and Borg. Why not add extra-dimensional invaders to the list? She managed a tight smile. Ideas? Seven spoke first. If Gohan's arrival created a dimensional rupture, his energy signature might be the key to sealing it. We would need to understand the mechanics of his key and how it interacts with the barriers between realities. And if we can't figure it out in 12 hours? Paris asked. Then Species 8472 destroys us all, Seven said simply. They do not bluff. Gohan felt the weight settling on him again. Every time he tried to help, he made things worse. This is my fault. I should. Stop. Janeway cut him off. You didn't ask to come here. You're not responsible for cosmic accidents. What you are responsible for is helping us fix it. Can you do that? He met her eyes and saw absolute confidence. She believed in him, believed they could solve this. Yes, Captain. I can do that. Then let's get to work. The next 12 hours were the most intense scientific work Gohan had ever experienced. 7 of 9, Belana Torres, and the doctor transformed Astrometrics into an improvised laboratory, scanning his key signature from every conceivable angle, while Harry Kim monitored subspace for signs of dimensional instability. Your energy doesn't just exist in normal space, Torres explained, manipulating three-dimensional models on the display. When you power up, part of your key signature bleeds into subspace, tetraion fields, even quantum states we can't properly measure. You're like a radio transmitter broadcasting on frequencies that shouldn't exist. And that's what tore the hole, Gohan realized. Not just tore it, you're keeping it open. 7 indicated cascading energy readings. Your presence generates a standing wave that prevents dimensional barriers from naturally resealing. Remove you from this universe, and the breach would close within hours. But since we cannot return you, we need to change his energy signature. The doctor finished. Recalibrate his key to match this universe's dimensional frequency. Think of it as tuning an instrument to the correct key. Can that even be done? Gohan asked. Unknown, 7 admitted. However, Species 8472 bioships operate on similar principles. They generate energy signatures that exist partially in fluidic space and partially here. If we can analyze their transition mechanics and apply similar modulation to your key, it might work, Torres said. Or it might kill him. We're talking about fundamentally altering how his body processes life energy. Gohan considered this. Back home, altering his ki flow would have been unthinkable. It would be like rewiring his nervous system while conscious. But this universe had already forced him to adapt. His ki regenerated slower. His transformations felt different. Maybe he could adapt further. How long would the process take? 6 hours for calculations, 2 hours for implementation, assuming you can consciously control your ki at the cellular level, 7 stated. That leaves us 4 hours before Species 8472's deadline, Kim pointed out. Then we'd better not waste time, Janeway said from the doorway. She'd been monitoring from the bridge. Proceed. I'll handle our extra-dimensional friends. The work was exhausting. Gohan sat in the center of astrometrics, surrounded by scanning equipment, while Seven and Torres fed him constant adjustments. He had to consciously manipulate his ki flow, slowing certain meridians, accelerating others, redirecting energy through pathways he never used before. Increase data band oscillation by 0.3%. Seven instructed. Gohan focused, feeling the energy shift inside him. It felt wrong, like breathing through the wrong lung, but the scanners registered the change. Delta wave formation stable, Torres confirmed. Gohan, you're doing great. Try rotating the frequency matrix clockwise, metaphorically speaking. Hours passed. His body ached from maintaining precise control over something that was usually instinctive. Sweat dripped down his face. The doctor materialized periodically to check his vital signs, murmuring concerns about neural stress and cellular fatigue. 7 hours elapsed. Seven announced. We have successfully modulated 63% of his baseline signature. However, the dimensional breach shows no signs of closing. Because I'm still generating the problematic frequencies with the other 37%, Gohan said through gritted teeth. We need to finish the full conversion. Your body is approaching critical stress levels, the doctor warned. If we push further, you risk permanent damage to your key pathways, whatever those are. Doesn't matter. Gohan forced himself to focus deeper. If we don't seal the breach, something worse gets through. Seven said it herself, things that make the Borg look insignificant. He could feel it now, pressing against the edges of his perception. The presence beyond the breach, vast and hungry, probing for weakness. It reminded him of Majin Buu before the creature had been released, pure malevolent potential waiting for the opportunity to manifest. Continue, he ordered. Torres and Seven exchanged glances but complied. The adjustments became more extreme, forcing Gohan to restructure energy pathways that had been established since childhood. Pain lanced through his nervous system. His vision blurred. Blood trickled from his nose. Gohan, stop! Torres shouted. Your cellular cohesion is destabilizing. Almost there. He pushed past the pain, past the warnings, past every instinct screaming at him to stop. His father had taught him that power came from pushing beyond limits. His mentor Piccolo had shown him that survival meant adapting to impossible circumstances. He'd died and been resurrected, fought beings that rewrote reality, sacrificed everything to protect others. This was just one more impossible thing to overcome. Golden energy exploded outward, but different now. The frequency had shifted, harmonized, aligned with this universe's fundamental constants. The scanners went wild. Modulation complete, Seven announced, something like awe in her voice. His energy signature now matches dimensional parameters. The breach is responding. On the long-range sensors, they watched it happen. The tear in spacetime, the wound Gohan's arrival had created, began to close. Slowly at first, then faster, sealing itself as if reality were healing from an injury. The presence beyond the breach is withdrawing, Kim reported from his station. Whatever was trying to get through, it's being pushed back. Gohan collapsed, barely conscious. The doctor caught him before he hit the floor. Get him to sickbay. Now. He woke to find Species 8472 standing over his biobed, or rather, their holographic representation. Janeway stood nearby, arms crossed, looking simultaneously relieved and exhausted. The breach has sealed, the alien stated. Your energy no longer disrupts dimensional barriers. You have proven your worth. That's good, Gohan managed. His entire body felt like it had been disassembled and reassembled incorrectly. However, you remain a potential threat. Your power is significant. Should you lose control, You could tear new breaches through careless action. I won't, Gohan said firmly. I've learned to control my power. To think before I act. The alien studied him with its singular eye. You are young. Impulsive. Emotional. These traits combined with your capabilities make you dangerous. Maybe, Janeway interjected. But he's also compassionate, willing to sacrifice himself for others, and capable of learning from mistakes. Those traits make him valuable. She stepped closer to the hologram. You wanted him eliminated as a threat. Instead, he nearly killed himself fixing the problem he created. That should tell you something about his character. Species 8472 was silent for a long moment. We will continue monitoring. Should dimensional instabilities emerge from your presence, we will return. The hologram faded. Do not disappoint us, Gohan of Earth. After they left, Gohan tried to sit up. His body protested violently. Lie down. Janeway ordered. Doctor's orders. You're not moving from that bed for at least 18 hours. Did it work? Is the breach completely sealed? Completely. 7 confirms no residual dimensional stress. You did it. She sat in the chair beside his bed. You also nearly died doing it. The doctor says another hour of that neural stress, and you might have suffered permanent brain damage. But I didn't. No, you didn't. Because you're either incredibly lucky or incredibly stubborn. She smiled slightly. Probably both. Gohan closed his eyes, feeling the new flow of ki through his altered pathways. Different, but not wrong. Adapted. Changed. Better suited to this universe. Captain, about what 7 said, the crew being afraid of me. Give them time, Janeway said gently. They've seen you fight Kazon, disable Vidiians, punch through a Borg cube, and nearly kill yourself to save us from extra-dimensional invasion. That's a lot to process. But they'll come around. Heroism has a way of winning people over. I'm not a hero. I just do what needs to be done. That's exactly what a hero is, Janeway replied. She stood. Rest, Gohan. Tomorrow, we continue our journey home. Both of us. He drifted toward sleep, exhausted but oddly content. He was 75,000 light-years from his Earth, but somehow, he'd found people worth protecting. A ship worth defending. A purpose beyond just fighting. Maybe, just maybe, being stranded wasn't the worst thing that could have happened. 6 weeks had passed since the Species 8472 incident. Voyager continued its journey through the Delta Quadrant, and slowly, carefully, Gohan found his place among the crew. He sparred with Tuvok in the holodeck, teaching the Vulcan about key manipulation while learning Vulcan nerve pinches and tactical logic. He helped B'Elanna in engineering, his enhanced strength useful for moving components that would normally require tractor beams. He listened to Neelix's endless stories about Delta Quadrant cultures, and occasionally even tried the Talaxians' cooking, though he still preferred replicated rice. But today was different. Janeway had called him to her ready room with unusual formality. When he entered, he found her standing at the window, watching stars streak past at warp speed. Captain? Sit, Gohan. She turned, holding a PADD. We've been analyzing long-range sensor data, comparing it against Borg comm traffic 7's been monitoring. There's something you need to know. He sat, tension coiling in his stomach. The Kazon sect you humiliated has put out a bounty. 6 species now know about the Earth warrior aboard Voyager. The Vidiians have shared your biological data with other medical research facilities. And the Borg. She paused. The Borg have designated you Species Priority 1. That's a classification they reserve for threats to the entire collective. I see. But that's not all. Janeway sat across from him. We've also received 3 offers of alliance. A Talaxian convoy wants to hire you as protection against raiders. A mining colony offered us supplies in exchange for your help defending against pirates. And most surprisingly, a Hirogen hunting party has requested an honorable hunt. One where you'd be the prey, But if you survive, they'd grant us safe passage through their territory. Gohan absorbed this. What do you think I should do? I think, Janeway said carefully, that you need to decide who you want to be in this universe. The weapon everyone fears? The hero everyone seeks? The prey everyone hunts? She leaned forward. Or something else entirely. I don't understand. You've been a passenger, Gohan. I guessed. Someone we're helping get home while you occasionally save our lives. She smiled. But I'm offering you something different. A place on this crew. Not as a weapon or a bodyguard, but as a person with value beyond your power. You want me to join Starfleet? I want you to join Voyager's crew. There's a difference, especially out here, 75,000 light-years from regulations and protocol. She pulled up a personnel file. We need people who can think, adapt, learn. 7 says you've been studying our sensor systems. Torres says you've picked up warp theory faster than most Academy cadets. Tuvok reports you have tactical instincts that rival his own. But I'm not from your universe. I don't know your rules, your culture. Neither did 7 when we severed her from the Borg. Neither did the Maquis crew members when we integrated them with Starfleet personnel. This ship runs on people learning to work together despite impossible differences. Janeway stood. I'm not asking you to be Starfleet. I'm asking you to be part of this family. Gohan was quiet for a long moment, thinking about his real family. His mother Chi-Chi, probably worried sick. His little brother Goten, who'd be training without him. His friends, Piccolo, Krillin, Bulma, all of them wondering what happened. He wanted to go home. But he also thought about B'Elanna's smile when he helped her solve an engineering problem. 7's gradual understanding of individuality through their conversations. Neelix's genuine warmth. Janeway's unwavering leadership. These people had taken him in, protected him, trusted him with their lives. What would my role be? Whatever fits. We're short-handed, stranded, and facing threats no single Starfleet vessel should handle alone. You could work in astrometrics with 7, engineering with Torres, security with Tuvok, or rotate through all of them. The point isn't the job. It's the commitment. She extended her hand. So what do you say? Want to be part of Voyager's crew? He thought about his father, who'd sacrificed himself twice for Earth. About Piccolo, who'd changed from villain to mentor to friend. About all the warriors who'd taught him that strength meant nothing without purpose. Gohan took her hand. I'll join. But on one condition. Name it. When we find a way for me to go home, you let me. No arguments, no you're too valuable to lose. I have people waiting for me. A life I need to return to. Agreed, Janeway said without hesitation. And if we find a way to get Voyager home, you come with us. See our Earth. Meet our people. Exchange knowledge and culture between our universes. Deal. They shook on it. Janeway smiled, genuine warmth that made her seem younger, less burdened by command. Welcome to the crew, Gohan. Now get to the bridge. We've got a situation developing. The bridge was organized chaos. A massive vessel had appeared on long-range sensors, not Borg, not Species 8472, but something else entirely. It was broadcasting on all frequencies, searching for something. It's Hirogen. 7 reported. Alpha-class vessel. Heavy weapons, advanced sensors. They are scanning for biological signatures. Let me guess, Paris muttered. They're hunting Gohan. Affirmative. They have intercepted reports of his capabilities and wish to engage in what they call worthy prey. 7 looked at Gohan. The Hirogen live for the hunt. They travel vast distances seeking challenges. You represent the ultimate trophy. Janeway turned to Gohan. Your call. We can try to outrun them or I can give them what they want. Gohan finished. He'd been thinking about this since Janeway mentioned the Hirogen offer. A hunt. But not to the death. To mutual respect. The Hirogen don't do mutual respect. Chakotay warned. Then maybe it's time they learned. Gohan stood. Captain, permission to negotiate? Granted. But Gohan, be careful. The Hirogen are predators. They don't think like we do. The Hirogen Alpha appeared on screen, massive, imposing, covered in armor made from previous prey. His voice was a rumbling growl. Federation vessel. Surrender, the warrior called Gohan, or be destroyed. I'm Gohan, he said, stepping forward. I understand you want to hunt me. I'll accept your challenge, but with conditions. The Hirogen's eyes narrowed. Prey does not dictate terms. I'm not prey. I'm a warrior offering you a test of skill. You hunt me for 4 hours through a location of your choosing. If you catch me, I'll acknowledge you as the superior hunter. If I evade you, you grant Voyager safe passage through Hirogen space and cease pursuit. And if I simply destroy your vessel? Then you lose the greatest hunt of your life. Gohan said calmly. I've fought beings that could destroy planets. I've survived vacuum, defeated the Borg, sealed dimensional rifts. I'm offering you a chance to test yourself against that. Or you can fire on a starship and prove you're just another bully with weapons. The Hirogen was silent, pride and desire warring on his face. Finally, he smiled, a predator's grin. 4 hours. The hunting ground will be a moon in System J-23. Forested, mountainous, numerous places to hide. I will use all my skills. All my technology. All my experience. And I'll use mine. Gohan agreed. Acceptable. We begin at dawn. The screen went dark. Janeway approached him quietly. You sure about this? No, Gohan admitted. But I'm tired of running. Tired of people seeing me as a target or a weapon. Maybe if I face the Hirogen on their terms, show them what a warrior really is, they'll spread that message. Make the Delta Quadrant a little less hostile. Or they'll hunt you even harder. Then I'll deal with that too. He headed toward his quarters. I need to prepare. And Captain, thank you? For everything. Gohan. He stopped. Come back. That's an order. He smiled. Yes, ma'am. The moon was beautiful in a savage way. Dense forests, jagged mountains, rivers cutting through valleys like silver veins. Gohan stood on the landing site as Voyager orbited above, watching the Hirogen Alpha ship descend a kilometer away. Dawn broke across the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. 4 hours, he reminded himself. Just stay ahead of them. He felt the Hirogen materialize, 16 hunters, fully armed, their energy signatures blazing with anticipation. They were experienced, confident, hungry for the challenge. The Alpha raised some kind of horn and blew, a long, resonant note that echoed across the forest. The hunt had begun. Gohan didn't run immediately. Instead, he moved deliberately, leaving obvious tracks, letting them follow. He wanted them to understand this wasn't about fear. It was about respect. Warrior to warrior. The Hirogen were skilled. Within minutes, they'd split into coordinated teams, using sensors and tracking skills to narrow his location. Gohan evaded, using his ki sense to stay ahead of their formations, moving through terrain that would have killed normal humans. An hour passed. The Hirogen adapted, predicted his movements, set traps. Energy nets sprang from trees. Weapons fire forced him to dodge. They were learning his patterns, adjusting tactics. Impressive. Gohan decided to engage. He dropped from a tree directly into a hunting party's path. 3 Hirogen, weapons raised, immediately opened fire. He dodged, not with his full speed, that would make it unfair, but fast enough to challenge them. One hunter lunged with a blade. Gohan caught the weapon barehanded, twisted it away, and swept the Hirogen's legs. The hunter went down hard but unharmed. Good technique, Gohan said genuinely. But you're thinking like I'm prey. I'm not. He vanished into the trees before they could respond. 2 hours. The Hirogen were frustrated now, changing strategies. They'd realized brute force wouldn't work, so they tried psychological tactics, setting fires to flush him out, using communication jamming, even attempting to provoke him with taunts broadcast on all frequencies. Gohan remained calm. This wasn't about winning or losing. It was about showing them a different kind of strength, the kind that didn't need to dominate or destroy. 3 hours. The Alpha himself entered the hunt, abandoning strategy for direct pursuit. Gohan sensed him coming, powerful, determined, carrying weapons that registered as genuinely dangerous even to him. This was the real test. They met in a clearing beside a waterfall. The Alpha stood massive and imposing, covered in trophies from countless hunts. Gohan stood opposite him, relaxed but ready. "You are skilled," the Alpha admitted. "But the hunt ends now." "Does it?" Gohan asked. "You've been chasing me for 3 hours. Your teams are exhausted. Your traps failed. Your weapons missed. I could have escaped your territory entirely, but I stayed. Do you know why? Arrogance. Respect." Gohan's voice was steady. "You're hunters. Predators. That's your nature, and I respect it. But I wanted to show you that prey isn't always weak. Sometimes prey chooses to be caught. And sometimes the greatest hunt isn't about the kill, it's about the chase." The Alpha raised his weapon, some kind of energy lance. "Philosophy does not interest me. Only results." "Then here's your result." Gohan powered up, golden aura flaring. The forest around them shook. Trees bent away from the energy pressure. The waterfall's spray vaporized. "You've been hunting me at a fraction of my actual power. I've been holding back because killing you would be easy, and easy isn't worthy of respect." The Alpha's weapon lowered slightly. "You could have killed us all? At any time. But what would that prove? That I'm stronger? You already knew that from the reports." Gohan let the aura fade. "I wanted to prove something else. That strength without wisdom is just destruction. That a true warrior knows when to fight and when to show mercy." 4 hours. The horn sounded across the forest, the Hirogen's signal for hunt's end. The Alpha stared at him for a long moment, then did something Gohan didn't expect. He removed his helmet, revealing scars and age and something that might have been understanding. "You are unlike any prey I have pursued. You turned our hunt into a lesson." He paused. "It is frustrating, but also worthy of respect. Then let's make a new arrangement," Gohan proposed. "Instead of hunting me, hunt with me. Not against people, against threats. When Voyager encounters dangers we can't handle alone, we call you. You get your challenge, we get backup, everyone benefits. The Hirogen do not form alliances. Maybe it's time you started. The Delta Quadrant is dangerous. The Borg, species 8472, countless others. You're warriors, so am I. Why waste that on trying to kill each other when we could face real challenges together?" The Alpha considered this. In his culture, such a proposal was unprecedented. But Gohan saw the calculation happening, the recognition that this arrangement offered hunts far more worthy than chasing freighters and weak prey. "I will present this to the Hirogen hierarchy. If they agree, we will answer your call when worthy challenges arise." He extended his arm in what seemed like a ritual gesture. "You have earned respect this day, Gohan of Earth. Few prey achieve that distinction." Gohan clasped the offered arm. "And you've earned mine. Hunt well, Alpha." Back aboard Voyager, the crews celebrated quietly. No one had died. They'd gained potential allies. And Gohan had proven something important. That his power could build bridges, not just destroy enemies. Janeway found him in the observation lounge later, watching the moon recede as they resumed their course. "That was quite a gamble," she said. "It worked though. This time. Next time, we might not be so lucky." She stood beside him. "But I'm glad you took the chance. The galaxy needs more people willing to find alternatives to violence. My father always said the strongest warriors are the ones who know when not to fight." Gohan smiled. Took me a long time to understand what he meant. How long until you think we'll find a way to get you home? I don't know. Maybe years. Maybe never. He looked at her reflection in the window. But until then, I've got a crew to protect. A ship to help. 75,000 light years to cross. 74,932 now. She corrected with a slight smile. Every day gets us closer. Both of us. Gohan thought about Earth. His Earth, somewhere in another universe, another reality. His mother, his friends, his life waiting for him. He'd find a way back eventually. He had to. But until then, he had something else. A purpose. People who depended on him. A journey worth taking. He was Son Gohan, half-Saiyan warrior, scholar, protector. He'd fought gods and monsters, died and been reborn, pushed past every limit his body and mind could endure. And now, stranded in a universe of science and reason, he'd found a new path. Not as a weapon. Not as prey. But as something better, a warrior who understood that true strength meant protecting others, building bridges, and knowing when compassion mattered more than power. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, each one a step closer to home. Voyager's crew worked around him. Humans, Vulcans, Klingon, former Borg, all united in their impossible journey. Gohan powered up slightly, feeling his modified ki flow through altered pathways. Different universe, different rules, but the same core principle his father had taught him. Protect what matters. Never give up. And always keep moving forward. Somewhere out there, across dimensions and realities, his family was waiting. He'd find them again. But first, he had 74,932 light years to travel. And he wouldn't make that journey alone. Live long and prosper. Hit the subscribe button for more interesting stories. Thank you for watching.